live on mine.
All right, yep, we're live. Everything's live.
Yep.
Right to the brother, sit down. Right, let's start off by saying Barakateh Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Chakadash. Welcome to the live lesson. The name of this one is But We Ain't Israelites and Other Topics. We're going to focus pretty much on the curses of Israel, being Israelites, and also whatever other topics come up. We'll, as the Spirit allows, we'll set it up, to explain why we decided to come up with this title. And also, we were watching a movie called Nefarious, and it's a pretty good movie. It's dealing with demon possession, execution, by way of the electric chair, demon possession of people, and there was some bones in the movie, but for the most part, there was a lot of good points in there. And one of the main things that I remember from the movie was, how the demon was telling the other guy that he was speaking to how the name is one of the most important things. But
there's power in the name. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that Elder Damasha probably want to say a few words on that movie.
Yeah, I know. It's a good movie. It's on Amazon Prime. Nefarious. A man was supposedly demon possessed by a spirit named Nefarious, and he had caused the suicide of a priest, and they were trying to prove that I don't want to spoil it. Check it out. But the spirit was bringing out some history, about how the sacrifices of children. The so-called demon was talking about all the malevolent things that are going on in the earth, that are caused by Satan, and how people don't believe that they're demon possessed, or they got spirits on them, but they do.
Yeah.
And the demon was actually talking about how they use gradualism.
Yep.
To so that people don't see that they're possessed.
Yeah.
Because
they're pretty much the consensus of the world. Even though they say they believe in the Most High, they really reject Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Because they don't really believe in the Lord. What they believe in is this slow indoctrination in the world that they put out there of who the Most High is, who His Son is, so on and so forth. But when it comes down to the tenets of the scriptures, the average person out there doesn't believe in that. They believe in the Heavenly Father in the form that these international bankers have, programmed their minds to believe it, to where they have self-will, and all that BS, and that's all crap. But it's a very good movie. I suggest you go and see it. If you want to, you don't have to, but it's a pretty good flick to watch. Informative. Like I said, there's bones in it, so you got to pick the bones from the meat. But overall, it's pretty good watch. So what brought about the title, the main title of "But We Ain't Israelites," because there's been an onslaught attack on the Hebrew Israelites, and that we're not the Israelites based off of, that. See, they put words into our mouths. They say that we say that all of the curses in the scriptures are fulfilled in this time or something along those lines, and that's not the case. Those curses were written back around 1500 BC, and after 1500 BC, when the Lord brought our forefathers out of the land of Egypt, we went into captivity into many different nations, and those curses, depending on if we were in the land or not, applied to different times and different captivities, and when we went into captivity under the Moabites and the Ammonites and the Midianites and all those different nations, those curses were following us in those time periods. Some captivities were shorter than others. When you read the book of Judges, it gives you a lot of different instances when we were in captivity under these different nations. right? Then as you progress on, right? As you progress on, you have the Assyrian captivity, which was the northern kingdom. Then you had the Babylonian captivity, you know, and during the Babylonian captivity, you had a siege that happened. You actually had women that were eating their children. You know, there was, you know, cannibalism that was going on during that time period also. You know, so different time periods. When you go up into the the Roman Empire, you also had cannibalism going on.
Yep.
And obviously, if we're not in the land, and if we're not in our land today, obviously those curses of the land do not apply today.
Right.
Okay? So as we were driving, we went to go grab a bite to eat there's a city, right? Actually, this city, which we're not going to mention the city, but it's broken up into two, and the brothers could correct me if I'm wrong there. But the place we went to was a good area. This is considered the bad area. And in the good area, when we came back, the thing is acting up, D-Nash. When we came back, right, one thing we noticed, you know, the Elder Tazawam, which is the head of the Atlanta camp, he said, well, one thing is for sure is you could tell when you're in Jake's neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole different dynamic, a whole different spirit. And one thing we were talking about was you have a liquor store everywhere, you have a church everywhere, and you have bad food. So liquor, religion, and bad food. But when you go to the other part of the neighborhood, which is pretty predominantly Edomite part of the neighborhood, you have, you know, you don't have that many churches, you don't have that many liquor stores, and you have good food. So that's why is that? Because we're under the curses. It doesn't matter how many times you try to deny it, we're under the curses. Matter of fact, let's start off with, if anybody got anything, you can bring it out.
Yeah, I have something.
What you got?
Deuteronomy 28.
Yes.
Yeah.
The 46th verse.
That's good, and then somebody get the 15th verse, but go ahead, bring it out.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, start at 45, I believe.
45. Okay.
And these curses, right?
That's what I had.
More of all these curses. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee.
Right, so the curses that are written within that whole book there are going to come upon us and pursue us and overtake us. Meaning that there's nothing that we're going to be able to do to get out of that condition. You know how many years, how many decades Jake has been trying to get out of the condition that they're in and have not been able to.
Right.
You know, they've been, starting riots, race riots. They've been getting together in a revolutionary movement. They've been, fighting for so-called equal rights, speaking about the injustices, talking about coming together as a whole in the community and pooling our resources together, our monies together to build up our own communities and buy from each other. It's been done over and over again. And what happens every time they build up to so much, the Lord knocks it down. He uses Esau to knock it down. If anybody want to jump in, feel free.
Yeah, we was just watching that movie Rosewood yesterday, and how Jake had a thriving community, and what happened? These devils, through the jealousy and the pride of their hearts, because the dude said, hey, that nigga's got a piano. I don't got a piano. Which they were pretty much already plotting to kill Jake anyway. They already wanted to kill Jake. They just needed a reason. Right. You said one guy raped one woman, which the guy in the movie, the guy was a devil, but
right. And he didn't rape her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. She committed adultery.
Yep.
So she feigned rape and said Jake did it. Said a nigga did it. Yep. And then what happened? They burned down the whole town where a bunch of thriving Jakes lived.
Their homes.
Yep. Their businesses. They just basically went in there and lynched Jake.
Yeah.
And then they said then they showed you on the movie how they were burying the bodies of these Jakes, so you wouldn't know the exact number how many of them died. All you know is an estimate.
Right, there was a bunch of them thrown in.
Yeah. Yep. And then the boys started crying. He said, "There's babies in there." You know, so these devils, they'll kill little kids, little babies.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like with the how Esau comes in these towns, it's always that same story. Because they say that's how that town Oscarville where Lake Lanier is today. And that's why they say it's haunted, because they say it used to be a Jake town, but Esau came and flooded it. But it was like that similar story. And it's always like echoing that same similar, you know, somewhere along the line, Jake did something, got wrongfully accused, and then Esau got quote unquote justified in his eyes, obviously, but to go destroy that town.
Emmett Till.
Emmett Till, exactly.
Yep.
We done on that?
No, so you ever say something?
No, I was gonna say Black Wall Street, Tulsa.
Oh yeah.
Same thing, you know.
There was many different ones too.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, many.
You had Seneca Village in New York.
Israel Hill.
I'm looking up something right quick, but y'all got it. Go ahead.
Yep, just finish off verse 45 during 28. It says, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee.
So we got the reason why all these killings, the brother brought up Lake Lanier, Tulsa, Rosewood, all these places. The reason why all this stuff happened because we went against the law. The Lord allowed those curses to come upon us because we didn't take heed to what He said.
It was a contract. And actually, I got the jumping up to verse 15, Deuteronomy 28. And here's the contract right here. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh, to observe to do all His commandments and His statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses will come upon thee and overtake thee." So that was the contract. That was the agreement.
And if I can say, like, you got these jakes or people that try to discredit the Bible or try to say the Most High, well, where was the Most High? Where was God during slavery?
Right.
Well, he's watching the whole thing. He set it up. That was the punishment. All right, for breaking the Lord's statutes, commandments. That was His will to put us, through captivity, man.
Yeah. I got some real quick to land back off you, brothers. This is Isaiah 42 and 24. Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, He against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in His ways, neither were they obedient unto His law. Therefore He hath poured upon him the fury of His anger and the strength of battle. And it hath set him on fire round about, yet he knew not. And it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. Because no matter how hard things get for Jake, they don't look to the Lord for the help.
Right.
They look to either, a so-called leader, a so-called pastor, or they look to the enemy to give them help. The same one that put him in that condition, they're looking for help from him.
Right.
The scriptures say, why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? But you got it.
In Isaiah, the 53rd chapter, speaks about how it pleased the Lord to bruise Yahweh Shai. So how much more us? That was one of the worst deaths ever recorded. That was, if not the worst death ever recorded of a so-called man.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It was,
It was the worst death ever recorded. But it pleased the Lord for it to happen. Because the Lord had a greater purpose for that. The Lord had a see that's why the scriptures say my ways are not your ways and my thoughts are not your thoughts.
Right.
That's what the Lord said that because the purpose of the Lord is beyond our imagination.
Yeah.
Unless the Lord open up our understanding, and allow us to, suck.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like the scriptures say, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, for whom the Lord loveth, He chasteneth and rebuketh often.
Yeah.
And the reason why, we went through the things that we went through and going through the things that we're going through is because we went against the Lord. So this is His way of correcting us, you know, because by right He had the right to just wipe us all out, period. You know, but He did it slowly but surely, a little at a time. Here, you know, and suffering all these things bring us to what? Bring us, you know, closer to the Lord, you know, and also purge us from the iniquities that we committed. And most people don't understand that. They don't want to understand that. You know, because they willingly are ignorant. They're seeking to please the Lord and to serve the Lord by their own righteousness. Would you brothers got it?
I have a definition going into the topic of the lesson, but we ain't the Israelites, because the thing that led us to this is the fact that predominantly Israelite or minority communities, it's dilapidated, man.
Yeah.
And so this is ghetto.
Oh yeah.
Alpha Edom Online, 1610s. It says part of a city in which Jews are compelled to live.
Come on, man.
Especially in Italy, from Italian ghetto, part of a city to which Jews are restricted.
Right. So pretty much they're trying to put that on, you know, the small hats.
Right.
Now, when you read the book 13th Tribe by Arthur Koestler, he even went in there because he was a small hat himself, and he came to the conclusion that they're not the people.
Right.
He breaks down where they come from, so on and so forth. And he said within there that those quote-unquote ghettos were self-imposed. Now, what does it mean self-imposed? They put themselves in that condition to try to play like they were the people of the Lord. Just like their women shaved their hair to try to fit, you know, the prophecy, you know, of Isaiah 3, instead of lost hair, baldness, you know, which goes back to, I believe that was Rebecca, when she covered her hair, so on and so forth. But the point is, they do things to try to fit the prophecy.
Right.
Jake, the real Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, are living the curses.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't put themselves in that condition.
Right.
They are brought up in those conditions because we are truly the Israelites. That's why we suffer the things that we suffer. You want to say something?
Yeah, I had a quick scripture. Well, it was actually the next verse, which goes right into what brother's going into. Back in Deuteronomy 28, in verse 46, dealing with the curses, it says, "And they shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever." Yep. So the curses is a sign, man. All right. You read from Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 down to 68. You're supposed to. We read these things. There will be a sign upon particular people, and that will let you know. Okay. They going through the curses. That's Deuteronomy 28 and such and such verse. That's the slave ships. It's a sign that lets you know. When you do a comparison between the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and the small hats, it don't line up, man.
Yeah.
They don't fit the prophecy. It don't match. All right. So the curses are supposed to be indicator, man.
And the identifier.
You know, like you said, going back to you driving through Jake neighborhood, it's like night and day, man. You got Esau living good, walking their dog, jogging with the clean sidewalks and houses. Then like the very next street, you cross one street, and it's just like, you know, like this guy Dave Chappelle and one comedy special. He said, "Man, I was riding in the car, and I see gun store, liquor store. Like, what the hell you taking me?" It's going, you know, that's where Jake stay at, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's why. That's due to the curses, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And then on the other hand, you have these people that claim to be us, that infringe on our heritage, and they don't suffer the things that Deuteronomy 28 said that we would suffer. They don't suffer those things. These are people that get billions of dollars from the U.S. every year, just because. You know, and then clearly at the end of what is that? Is it the end of Deuteronomy? It said, "Well, no man shall save. So no man shall buy you.
Yep.
Meaning no man shall save you. You know, but why? If that was the case, if nobody was trying to save them, why are they getting all this money? Why do they run all of these businesses and companies in this evil world, man?
Yeah.
You know,
they control the media. They control everything. They're in every government, pretty much in every government in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and when you get in there, you control certain positions. You control the authority and the laws, legislation that are being passed. That's why Maya Angelou said that. He said, "Give me control of the nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws." Just building off of this, we know brother spoke about Rosewood, spoke about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, there was also a place in New York called Seneca Village, where you have certain parts of Central Park today. There used to be a thriving community of Jake there called Seneca Village, right? It says this is Central Park Conservancy magazine. Before Central Park, the story of Seneca Village. Now, this is dated January 18, 2018. It says, before Central Park was created, the landscape along what is now the park's perimeter from West 82nd to West 89th Street was the site of Seneca Village, a community of predominantly African Americans, which are Israelites, many of whom owned property. By 1855, the village consisted of approximately 225 residents, made up of roughly two-thirds African Americans, that's Judah mainly, 1/3 Irish immigrants, which are more Jakes, and a small number of individuals of German descent, which you have Jake among them also. One of a few so-called African American enclaves at the time. Seneca Village allowed residents to live away from the more built-up sections of downtown Manhattan and escape the unhealthy conditions and racial discrimination they faced there. The formation of Seneca Village. Seneca Village began in 1825 when landowners in the area, John and Elizabeth Whitehead, subdivided their land and sold it as 200 lots. Andrew Williams, a 25-year-old African-American shoe shiner, bought the first 3 lots for $125. Epiphany Davis, a store clerk, bought 12 lots for $578. And the AME Zion Church purchased another 6 lots. From there, a community was born from 1825 to 1832. The Whiteheads sold about half of their land parcels to other African Americans by the early 1830s. There were approximately 10 homes in the village. And it gives you a blueprint or a sketch of how it was. There is some evidence that residents had gardens and raised livestock in Seneca Village, and the nearby Hudson River was a likely source of fishing for the community. A nearby spring known as Tanner Spring provided a water source. They didn't have to get bottled water back then. By the mid-1850s, Seneca Village comprised 50 homes and 3 churches, as well as burial grounds and a school for African American students. A thriving African American community. Whenever you hear African American, it's talking about Jake. Israelites. For African Americans, Seneca Village offered the opportunity to live in an autonomous community, meaning self-ruled, far from the densely populated downtown, despite New York State's abolition of slavery. Salaki, can y'all get some precepts?
I got some.
You could get some because this thing just.
Oh, okay.
So,
I got something real quick while you're getting that. This is Micah 2:2.
Spirit.
Oh yeah. It says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away." Yeah, because this is talking about Esau, of course. But we didn't get into what eventually would happen with that Jake town. But I can guarantee you it was some shady. I mean, we're gonna get into the details in a second, but we already know it was some wickedness, man, some deception going on.
Oh yeah.
Esau came in and coveted. Well, he coveted it first. He said, "You know what, man? These Jakes got this nice land right here, situated in the middle of the city.
Yep.
They're thriving, and they bought it cheap, man.
Yep. That's how the devil does.
So the devil coveted it and said, took it by violence, and same thing with Gad. Same thing with everything this devil wants. You have 2 options. You can either just give it to him. You can either just hand it over, or he's gonna play the hard way. He's either gonna push some type of policies or laws and effects and deceive you, or actual direct violence. He's gonna bring in his army or whatever, or militias, and burn it the hell down.
Yeah. Now jump down to the 9th verse.
Yeah, kind of. This is verse 9.
What's that
10. It says, "Arise," that's a good one. "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it will destroy you even with a sword of destruction. Yeah, so hey, this is not our rest, man. That's how, and going into the point, which is, see, Jake was thriving.
Yeah.
Just like the apostle mentioned, anytime Jake gets ahead in this society, you know, the Lord is going to bring it down, because this is not our rest. We weren't. See, America wasn't established to be a resting place, a kingdom for Jake.
Right.
Just like as the saying goes, the elders and apostles always bring out the white man's heaven is a black man's hell.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, no matter, I don't care how much, you know, because in the article, what did it say? It said Jake was, they had springs, they had
churches, they had schools, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And it's not because they were incompetent to hold those things.
Right.
So what is it? It's the curses.
Yeah.
It's a dark cloud that follows behind Jake. You know, that no matter how high they get up in society, somehow, some way, they get knocked down. Scriptures say, and I believe that's in Haggai, that the Lord said that you will get a bag with holes. You put your money into a bag with holes.
Yep.
So if you got a big ass bag of money, right, but then it has a hole in it, eventually that money's going to fall out. Or some of it anyway. And no matter how much you put in there, it's going to keep falling out. And then the Lord said you're going to get so far, and then the Lord's going to blow upon it.
Yep. That's why, what's that dude's name? Deontay something. He's making all these videos, but now he's making videos about people who are ex-entertainers, football stars, basketball stars, and they're all broke. They're all broke now.
Why?
You know, they have millions of dollar contracts.
Yeah.
But now that they still alive, that should have been enough money to sustain them until the day they die. But now they're penniless. You know, because because of that curse.
Yeah. It's that dark cloud that they got over them.
28 and
16?
16?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Deuteronomy 20 and 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
That's it. No matter what part of the city you're in, or no matter what part of the world you're in, if you're an Israelite, doesn't matter what you look like, you're gonna catch hell.
Yeah,
that's it.
It'll follow you wherever you go.
That's it. Bottom line, you can't escape it. You can't escape the curses. You know, I don't care what vocabulary says. Go ahead, you know.
Yeah, it says 17. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
Cursed shall be that basket in that store. That basket is what? Your pocket. Your store would be your bank account. No, hey, somehow, well, we got to pool our money together. Well, didn't they have a black bank, so-called black bank in Harlem?
Yeah.
And what happened? That shit went under, and a lot of those jakes lost a lot of that money. You know, so it doesn't matter what you do.
Yep.
You know, it's like you know, with Jake, you know, you got these Jake that the younger Jake now, they say, well, look, we got to pull our money together. Like it's some new, like, oh shit, you know, I just had an epiphany last night that if we really pull our money together and just cut the white men out and the other nations and just, you know, work among ourselves, we're gonna be able to do good.
But you still spending the white man's money.
Exactly. You still coming to, you shall come to him for the one of all things. You know, and as you read on further, it goes into it even more. I think around the 17, 18 verse.
Yeah, I keep going. It says, "Curse," verse 18. "Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land,
which is your children, and the fruit of thy land." Obviously, we don't have our own land now, so that don't apply now.
Exactly.
Just like when we were in different captivities, certain things didn't apply to those captivities. But go ahead.
It says, "And the flocks." I'm sorry. The fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou.
So now that particular curse there would fall when we were in captivity, when we went into captivity under the Assyrians. Then when later the southern kingdom went into captivity under the Babylonians. Then we had land, we had cattle, and they took the land and the cattle. They took the fruit of the land and all of that. So that would apply at that time. During the time of the Romans, during the time of the Greeks, during the time of the Medo-Persian Empire, where we were still in that land. Those curses would apply to that particular time period. But now we're not in the land. We don't have flocks like that. You know, we don't have agriculture or acres of land where we're growing stuff on or farming animals and things of that nature. So obviously that doesn't apply there. And by the way, we're not in our land right now.
Yeah. And it goes to show you also the importance of being on one accord under Yahweh Shem Shai, because, like you said, Jake will get together like, oh man, we need to pull our. But you niggas have different viewpoints.
Right.
All you niggas have separate.
Yeah.
So you can't walk together. You can't walk together unless you be agreed.
Right.
So the agreement is Israel has to serve the Lord on one accord.
Yeah.
No. The brother just said exactly what I was thinking. If you niggas do come together and make a decent amount of money, then eventually it's gonna become a struggle for power.
Yeah.
A struggle for who's gonna make the most,
Yeah.
or this person, or
Who controls it?
recognition.
Right.
A struggle for this, a struggle for that, and people begin to fall out, and then all the money that they made. See, the scriptures say, man, what is it?
Money.
A man to gain the world and lose his own soul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey,
Corruption.
People get all that money, and then eventually, what ends up becoming of it? Nothing. Everything that they built to get that money. See, the thing is, the jakes that are set up in the society are meant to be a distraction for the rest of these simple people. They say, oh, well, I can make it in society. And everybody gets to chasing the same dream. Instead of chasing Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, they get to chasing this rat race dream, endless, time-consuming, mind-consuming, life-consuming dream that is fruitless in the end.
Rat race.
Yeah. And then by the time they found out they wasted their life chasing all this shit, they too old and fucked up to fix anything.
Right. And then you try to pass on your experiences to the younger generation. They ain't trying to hear you until it's too late for them.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a vicious cycle. And they try to explain to the younger generation, nah, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. You old mother,
Yeah, times are changing.
Yeah.
And the scriptures speak about that. The young are not going to have reverence for the old.
For the ancient.
Yeah. There's one more. Curse. Well, I mean, there's more obviously, but verse 19. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
And there's been it's like a script in a movie that everybody has seen this movie so many times, over and over again, and it always ends up the same. It never changes. There's never at the end this particular person wins. No, Jake comes in. They do good, they make money, and eventually they lose everything.
Yeah, like this dude, Thugger and Gunna and all of them.
Yeah.
These dudes was making money hand over fist.
It was on top.
They was raking in all kinds of millions of dollars. But what they have now? What do they have to show for it?
Nothing.
A lengthy prison sentence.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I got a little bit more on this article.
Okay.
It says, despite New York State's abolition of slavery in 1827, discrimination was still prevalent throughout New York City and severely limited the lives of so-called African Americans. Seneca Village's remote location likely provided a refuge from this climate. It also would have provided an escape from the unhealthy and crowded conditions of the city and access to more space both inside and outside the home. Compared to other so-called African Americans living in New York, residents of Seneca Village seem to have been more stable and prosperous by 1855. Approximately half of them owned their own homes. With property ownership came other rights not commonly held by African Americans in the city, namely the right to vote. In 1821, New York State required African American men to own at least $250 in property and hold residency for at least 3 years to be able to vote. Of the 100 black New Yorkers eligible to vote in 1845, 10 lived in Seneca Village. The fact that many residents were property owners contradicts some common misperceptions during the mid-19th century that the people living on the land slated to be the park were poor squatters living in shanties. While some residents lived in shanties and in crowded conditions, most lived in two-story homes. Census records show that residents were employed, with African Americans typically employed as laborers and in service jobs. The main options for them at the time. Records also show that most children who lived in Seneca Village attended school. The creation of Central Park. During the early 1850s, the city began planning for a large municipal park to counter unhealthful urban conditions and provide space for recreation. In 1853, the New York State Legislature enacted a law that set aside 775 acres of land in Manhattan, from 59th to 106th Street.
A law.
Which means that from 59th to 106th Street, Seneca Village was within that range, in there, because it was in the 80s. It says between 5th and 8th Avenues to create the county's first major landscape public park. The city acquired the land through eminent domain, the law that allows the government to take private land for public use with compensation to the landowner. And what do you think they gave them? They gave them peanuts compared to what it was worth.
That's prime land right now. They'd be worth millions.
Yeah, yep. And then that goes into that Daniel
Bring it up.
policy. What's that, Daniel 9 or
Those policies you call credit.
Is that 725?
first policy? Yeah, 7. I thought it was 9. Yeah, Daniel 7 and 20. Let me see.
Is that it? Or is it 825?
I think it's 825.
Because 825 is really speaking about, Antiochus Epiphanes,
Yeah,
but we can use it in a sense of that devil then, that what he did, these devils still do it to this very day.
That's it.
They're not smart.
Same tactics.
There you go. They're not smart. They just use the same things that work over and over again.
Over and over. This is Daniel 8 and
If
25.
it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Daniel 8 and 25. And through his policy also shall he cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
Now go to Daniel 7:25. Now that's actually speaking about Antiochus Epiphanes, but we could use it today in the sense of this is how they make their enterprises or their agendas move forward, is by these practices that they put into place.
Laws.
Right, and Daniel 7:25 goes into the laws.
Yeah, this
and then
is
somebody get Isaiah 10 and 1.
Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words.
That's dealing with America, that little horn in Daniel 7.
Against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And they did. They took over the land of Gad, Reuben, Issachar, and the rest of the tribes. They brought Judah over here, and that's all they've been doing. Is beating down the saints of the Most High, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Go ahead.
And think to change times and laws.
Right, and think to change times and laws. Here it is. You had a thriving community of Jakes. They were building, they were growing, they were thriving.
Yeah.
Just like they did in Rosewood. Just like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just like they did in many other different places. Right? Now, the new movie that came out, Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, I only watched an hour of it. It's a long movie. But the point is in that's the Osage Nation, which was Gad. Right? Now, that happened the same year that Tulsa, Oklahoma was taken down. The same exact year. Now, with the Osage Nation, Esau found a land that was barren, that they thought was barren, and they threw these Gadites over there and said, y'all can have it. There ain't nothing that y'all can have it. But as soon as they found out that there was oil there, what did they do? They murdered all of the Osage family that was inheritors of that land to what? To come in there and take over.
See?
That's how the devil operates. You know?
Yeah. And it says, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
Right, which those are prophetic years, which you could also find in the book of Revelation, which adds up to 350 years prophetically.
Yeah.
Right? What happened in the beginning of that 350 years, around 1619, 1620, that's when the bulk of the slaves were brought here, because the slaves were being brought to this country going back to the 1500s.
Right.
But the major bulk was brought here in 1620, 1619, 1620.
Yeah, I was saying that was a major year. That was a major,
Yeah.
That's right. And then 350 years in the future, what happened? That's when the truth started to be brought out. That's when America started to fall. It's no coincidence.
No coincidence, right.
That in 1969, after they shot the so-called went to space, which they didn't. They shot out the rocket to go to the moon, which they never went to the moon. But from that point on, they started to fall.
Start going down.
According to prophecy in the book of Obadiah.
That's right.
You know, and ever since that time period, your whole nation has been unraveling
Yep.
unto this very day. Why? Because that was the end of that time period that you had, you know, before you would fall. That was your incline, and then you came to a point where you couldn't go no higher, and then you started going down.
Yep.
That's it.
Is there more than that?
No, that was the point.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So somebody get Isaiah 10 and 1.
Mhm.
But what you got? You had something?
Yeah,
Somebody else get Isaiah 10 and 1.
Yeah, something, you know, kind of go along with what brothers was saying. Job 24, I started I'll read verse 2. It says, some remove the landmarks.
Beautiful.
They violently take away flocks and feed thereof.
Right. And they take away the landmarks that they themselves had not set up. You know, and the Lord said that's against the law. And it's written in the same book that you say you trust in, the Bible. But what do? You remove it anyway.
Yep.
Is there more?
If I could read it in
Brother, bring it out. Bring
read
it out.
in the NLT version, it says evil people steal land by moving the boundary markers.
Wow.
That's it.
They steal livestock and put them in their own pastures.
What did it say? What did the saying go? They always move the goalposts.
Yeah, and hey, well, it's just like a game. You gotta remember, well, Job in that same chapter, Job 9:24 says the earth is given to the hand of the wicked.
Yeah.
So the Lord gave Esau dominion over this present society. Now, you gotta remember, it's his game.
Yeah.
So he could change the rules. Anytime a nigga get good at the game, he's like, hey man, we gotta change these rules.
Yeah.
Just like those boundaries. Hey, well, you know what? This is the boundary now. Like in basketball, you got niggas getting good at, you know, hey, we gotta change the rules, man.
Yep.
You gotta move the goal line.
The
goalpost. Is there more?
I read one more verse. Same book, Job 24:3 in the NLT version. It says they take the orphan's donkey and demand the widow's ox as security for a loan.
Right, there you go. You got your what? When you go get a loan, what do they ask for? Collateral. Collateral comes in the form of something tangible, whether it's a car, whether it's land, whether it's a home, you know, whether it's any goodies that you might have, you know, gold or silver, whatever it is that you have that's of value. They'll give you the loan with high ass interest, but you have to give them something in case you renege on the loan. And then they come and they take that home back from you, and they take whatever they gave you, they take it back from you, and they keep your shit.
That's crazy. Yeah,
you buy a car, here it is. You might have $2,000 left to pay on the car, but then you fall into hard times, you can't pay it.
Right.
They'll come and take your car, and all that money you paid on it will be lost. And then they'll take the car and fix it up and turn around and sell it again.
Usury.
Yeah.
And they'll sell it for high.
Yeah.
They won't sell it for a discounted value. You know, they'll sell it for
As much as they can.
$15,000.
Yeah.
When the original price was $30,000, the car got 50,000 miles on it.
Yep.
You know, and then they wonder why they got fucking car graveyards out here where there's a gang of new cars just roasting. Man, this dude is fucking wasteful, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The brand new 2019 0-mile car sitting somewhere out in the fucking desert roasting in the sun because you're too cheap to drop the price for people to afford.
There you go. The greed, man. So who got Isaiah 10 and 1?
I got the Isaiah 10 and 1. This is woe, Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees.
Right. Eminent domain. Go ahead.
And that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
Right. And that grievousness comes in the form of the laws that they're passing, which eventually, when they pass that law, it becomes too oppressive for the person. You know, they don't do something based off of, you know, okay, well, we're going to do it in the interest of, you know, we got poor people, we got middle class people, we got rich people, so we're going to do it according to accommodate everybody. These devils do not accommodate. All right? Now read on, because it goes into it even more.
Yep. It's verse 2. To turn aside the needy from judgment.
To turn aside the needy from judgment. Go ahead.
And to take away the right from the poor of my people.
And to take away the right from the poor of my people. Go ahead.
That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Right. So now somebody get Habakkuk 1, and I believe it's 4, verse 4, 3. It starts at 3, I think it is. Therefore the law is slack.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to see if if there's no other precept, then I'm going to go back and read a little more of this.
I got something.
Now this, I'm going to let you come in. Now this article here dealing with Seneca Village in New York, that's just one out of many other cities in America that had thriving Jake communities where they pooled their resources together. Some places like Tulsa, I believe they had a cinema, they had their own bank, they had hospitals, they had all of that. But what happened? These devils came and destroyed it. Why? Those are the curses. Because the scriptures say, "You shall come to this man for the one of all things," and it means just that.
That's right.
Go ahead.
No exceptions.
That's right.
You want the Habakkuk first?
Let D-Max read. You had something?
Oh yeah, come on. This is Psalms 10 and 2. It says, "The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor." It says, "Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." It says, "For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous whom the Lord abhorreth."
Right.
You know?
Because what is covetousness? It's when you want something that doesn't belong to you. So what do? You concoct, a plan to either write some type of legislation or do something to charge this person with whatever, so that they can get in a jam to where they can either be financially unstable or be set to prison or whatever the case may be. So you could come in and take that land.
Can I read it in the NET?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It goes into what you just said. Psalms 10 and 2, NET. It says, "The wicked arrogantly chase the oppressed. The oppressed are trapped by the schemes the wicked have dreamed up."
Beautiful. Yeah, that's like that Jezebel plot. When she set up that dude to be put to death so that her husband Ahab could get that plot of land that he wanted, that the man didn't want to sell him. When you go back into the history, that's the Jezebel plot. All right, so we got Habakkuk.
Yep. This is Habakkuk 1 and start 1.
Does it start at 3?
Or, I'm sorry, 3, yeah. Why doest thou show me iniquity?
Yeah.
Yep.
What does 1 say?
It's talking about Habakkuk saw the prophet did. I'll just start. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. Verse 2. "O Lord, how long shall I cry?"
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh
Lord, how long shall I
yeah. "O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence."
Right, violence, injustice. Go ahead.
And thou wilt not save.
Right. So when you have land, when the Spanish conquistadors came here and the Israelites that were here from the northern kingdom, and they took the land by violence. When the rest of them devils came to the Americas, they took the land by violence. Go ahead.
Yep. It says, "Why doest thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me."
Right. Spoiling and violence. Spoiling means to rob, and violence means just what it means, violence. Go ahead.
"And there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slack."
Therefore the law is slack. Because it's not slack on their behalf, it's slack on our behalf. Because they're not going to hold themselves guilty.
Right.
But the Lord's going to hold them guilty. Because he said he will not at all acquit the wicked. You may acquit yourself, but the Lord ain't going to acquit you.
That's right.
Go ahead.
It says, "And judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth."
Right, so it doesn't matter how high you get in society, or how much money you make, or how rich you are, or what substances you have. The ones that are the policy makers are the Edomites.
That's it.
Well, if we go in there, we run for office. Motherfucker, how many times have these politicians that have been gone up in the fucking in the government and had high positions? And what the fuck changed?
Right. And you mentioned in that same article, the Seneca Village. What did it mention? The voting. And so I go to show you, even though Jake had all these different businesses
Yep.
and resources,
Yep.
they still try to be inclusive in society. And Esau, oh, we need the right to vote.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. When the script, I'm sorry, when the article itself said that they had the autonomy to pretty much rule among themselves, because autonomous is auto itself and nomos is law. Autonomous self-law, self-rule.
Yep.
You know, so you had the ability to deal with yourself, but you still had to, like you said, be inclusive in Esau's shit.
Esau's
Yeah. And then Jacob do all this tedious work to become like a governor or a mayor, or or some state representative, and then they realize that, well, you still got bosses, you can't change any fucking thing.
Right.
And then, but you will become the face of this new oppression that we're gonna put out.
Right.
Now everybody's your face is at the head of this new oppression that we're gonna roll out, because your superiors, they're hidden.
Right.
You are the face of what's coming out, and now everybody hates this person,
Right.
because they did what some fucking devil is up in the mountains and his winter retreat home told him to do.
Yeah. And like Apostle Rakai cursed that bitch out in Indiana at the time.
Yeah, she was a demon too. But
All right, so let me go back to this article. Was there more on that?
Let me see. That was the. Let me see. That was the point.
Okay. So going back here, it says the city acquired the land through eminent domain, the law that allows the government to take private and land for public use with compensation paid to the landowner. This was a common practice in the 19th century and had been used to build Manhattan's grid of streets decades earlier. There were roughly 1,600 inhabitants displaced throughout the area. Although landowners were compensated, many argued that their land was undervalued. Ultimately, all residents had to leave by the end of 1857, after they built that place up, right? Research is underway to determine where Seneca Village residents relocated. Some may have gone to other African American communities in the region, such as Sandy Ground in Staten Island and Skunk Hollow in New Jersey. Discovering more about Seneca Village to see what this is. Although we have limited knowledge of what life was like in Seneca Village, there has been ongoing work to learn more about its residents and their lives. In 2011, archaeologists, so you get the idea. So whenever Jake has a thriving community, Esau always comes in there and destroys it, removes them. All right, now in that case, what they did was they bought the land out from Jake, to build. And now what do you have there? You have nothing that resembles what was there at one time.
Right.
They just draped it over with a park.
Yeah.
Now when you go into these other different places, they have lakes that cover actual cities where Jake was thriving.
Yeah.
You know? So come on, man.
Yeah, damn devil, man. I had something real quick.
Yeah, bring it up.
just to add to that, they have all these places where people are excavating to do some new building, and they're finding the bones of these Jakes, man.
Yeah.
The bone, they just recently behind a prison found the bones of like 250 people. You know? Or they'll go to excavate and they'll find the bones of all these Jakes, man. You know, that were probably never accounted for as nothing, man. They took them out in the woods and buried them so that when the people come in and investigate, it didn't look like they killed as many.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they had what they call that. They just dig out a big ass grave and then you just throw a whole bunch of people in there, and that's what they were doing during the time of Rosewood. I forgot it's a term that they call it. Like a mass grave. They just dug a hole and they just threw everybody in there. So that's why when they do the count, you don't get that many, because they might have counted that as maybe 3 people.
Right.
And that they might have been 25, 30, 40, 50 people in there, or 100 people.
Yeah, hey, they did that to Ephraim too.
They
would beat them half to death, and then they would throw them in this hole, and that injured, and then they would sit dogs in the hole to kill them the rest of the way, man. Before they buried them in the hole, man.
Dogs to tear.
Yep.
That's what it's called, a mass grave.
Mass grave.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's something real quick.
Yeah, bring it up.
God, this is
If any brother got any precepts, bring it out. If
Okay.
not,
okay.
start wrapping it up.
This is Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, you can apply that to what we're going into. All these different establishments and thriving cities and villages that Jake had. Jake was minding business, man. Attending to each other, doing their business, and going about it, and this damn devil come out of nowhere and just
Wreaks havoc.
just wreaks havoc, man.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what's funny? It's not that Jake can't set up and establish
Right.
businesses and thrive in communities, which has been proven time and time again.
Not our time.
It's the curses.
The curses, yeah.
Because they'll say that Jake is uneducated. Man, I'm just talking right now dealing with Judah. That they're uneducated, they're lazy, they're this, that, the other.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Right.
How are you going to curse somebody out for not being able to read or write and make fun of them when you didn't allow them to read or write? You don't come out the womb reading and writing.
Right.
That's something that's taught. And then you don't allow them to do it, but then you make fun of them because they're illiterate. The fucking nerve of these devils.
Yep.
So it ain't that we don't have the ability to build communities and to thrive. It's just that we're under the curses.
Curses,
And it's evident when you read through all those curses at one point or another in them different captivities, it applied in different time periods and different captivities. It's plain and simple. Now show me where these rats, where that applies to them. Where every captivity they've been in, that they've been catching hell like that. And whenever man, there's a documentary, right? Yoav, I think his name was Yoav something, and I'm trying to think of the name of the what you call it. And pretty much he's a small hat, and he went around New York gathering information. It was called defamation, I believe it was called. Defamation, Yoav something, I believe the guy's name was. And he went throughout New York to the ACLU, and not the ACLU, the ADL and other establishments, trying to find out if this whole thing of the persecution that they go through is really real.
Yeah.
Right? And then they couldn't find shit. Well, we heard this lady that said she might have heard something that might resemble something that somebody said. It was like rumors. It was shit that they made up. It was shit that they put it together.
It's a 2009 documentary film by Israeli filmmaker Yoav Shamir.
Yep.
It examines anti-Semitism, the way perceptions of anti-Semitism affect Israeli and U.S. politics, and explores the suggestion that claims of anti-Semitism are exaggerated or weaponized to stifle
To stifle what?
To stifle dissent against Israel.
There you go. And you can watch it yourself. It should be on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. And he went to rabbis. And even one rabbi said, "I might get in trouble for this," but So what else you got?
I finished it off. Middle of verse 30, verse 1. It says, "When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled."
Right. So when you stop robbing, you're gonna get robbed. The scripture say, "Rob those that rob those that robbed you." No, matter of fact, somebody get an Exodus 15. What is it? Exodus 21 and 16, is it?
I think that's
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. It says, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee.
Boom. Period.
It's that payback.
That's it. Payback is a female dog. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so
Yeah. You got that.
This is Exodus 21 and 16. It says, "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him."
you could speak on it, D-Mash.
Yeah, he that stealeth a man and selleth him. What happened to us? We came over here. We were taken from the west coast of Africa, which they sent trappers out to catch us. Meaning that we came unwillingly. We were stolen. We were captured, and we were shipped off into a land unwillingly. It says, "He that stealeth a man and selleth him," we came here and was sold on auction blocks. It's common history. It says, "Or if he be found in his hand," meaning we're still here today. And instead of giving us freedom, they gave us laws. They gave us their own laws. When you give a person freedom, you're saying, you tell them, look, this is your section of land. You can govern this land freely without our intrusion upon your people.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's freedom. Freedom is not telling us what to fucking do.
Right, and freedom is also having slaves to bow down to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Sovereignty.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we can forward your wicked oppressive kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
It says, if you be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Meaning, eventually the Lord is going to destroy this kingdom. And eventually, you're going to be put to death. But not after you pay the punishment for the crimes you committed. The scriptures say he's a fugitive and a vagabond. You know?
Earth.
Yep. That too. But he's a fugitive and a vagabond. Meaning a fugitive is a person that has committed a crime that has not been
Judged.
Judged according to the crime he committed.
Right.
You know. So what's going to happen when the judge comes? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua comes. He's going to judge you.
Yeah. You don't want to hold yourself guilty?
That's right.
No worries. The Lord going to do it for you.
It's just like you like to put a motherfucker on death row for 20, 30 years
Yep.
before he gets executed, and we're going to put your ass on death row.
Yeah.
That's it.
And your death row is going to be what? The same thing, slavery.
Yep.
Precept.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sirach 10:8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries,
Beautiful.
and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Yeah, so that was your deeds.
Yeah.
You know, your rap sheet. Unrighteous dealings, injuries, riches got by deceit. All those things is how you've acquired. Because scriptures also say, what's that? Ezekiel 35. Ezekiel 35:5. Yes, it's not hated blood. Because hey, you furthered that affliction, man, through that hatred you had.
Hey, I'm gonna give you one phrase. Many tekel ufar.
Yeah, that came up in that movie too.
You know, you've been weighed in the balance and you have been found wanting.
Yeah, that's it.
Most High numbered that kingdom and finished it.
That's it.
Like Most High, this was it. Most High set the bounds you can't pass.
That's it.
The bounds apply to the time too. The time you was allowed to rule, man. You ain't gonna rule past 1 millisecond with the Most High established.
That's
That's
it.
right.
Yep.
You know.
Okay.
That's right.
That was it.
Yeah.
So that all right. So if anybody else got anything, any closing statements, any closing scriptures? So with that, we have to give our praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kakadash. We pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Let's go, Joe.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
You got that.
Yeah, I got a different.
Yeah. How you do that?
There you go.
Okay. Oh, you.
So-